Hello, friends. We are going live today to connect with mothers with fourth degree tears. So this is World Oasis Week, and I'm really excited to be able to connect you guys with some very important information. So hang in there while we get connected. I'm going live with mothers with fourth degree tears. So as soon as she joins, we'll get connected. This is the first annual World Oasis Week, WOW 2019. You can you can search that hashtag and see some interesting information come up. Here we go. We are connecting. I just sent you the invitation. So hang in there, anybody that's joining us, and we will get connected soon. Let's try it again. So just click the little link because I sent you a request to join, and you should be getting it. Okay, good.
Hi.
Hey, excellent. Well, it's so nice to see you, and I'm so glad we were able to connect. Let's meet officially. I'm Jeanice.
Yes, I'm Laura. It was so nice to meet you too.
Thank you. Thank you for carving out time. Everybody that's just joining us last night. First of all, this is the first annual WOW 2019 World Oasis Week. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Mm-hmm. But Laura has been on fire this week. I don't know how many posts you've created, but it's been amazing content. And so I'm leaving for a trip this afternoon. I was like, hey, is there any chance that we can connect even for 15 minutes? So It's not going to be a long interview, but we're so excited to share this information with you, and thank you for making time.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. And thank you. I just want to sincerely thank you for everything that you have done. Obviously by your large following, you're really resonating with a lot of people, and
thank you.
Just presenting this information in a way it's just so compassionate and
thank you.
But also like lighthearted and funny, which is amazing for these topics. Yeah,
I know they're heavy topics too.
They are.
Thank you. That really made my entire month. Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so let's just jump in. Tell me a little bit about WOW 2019 and what it is.
Okay. So WOW is an awareness week. It stands for World OASI Week. And OASI stands for obstetric anal sphincter injuries, which include third and fourth degree tears from childbirth. And so I wanted to bring awareness to it because I had a fourth degree tear during the birth of my first son, and I started a Facebook support group a couple of years after that. Because there just wasn't really a lot of support out there, and people aren't really talking about it.
Especially, they didn't really want to say anything about it. They're just kind of suffering in silence.
Right, because you deal with a lot of embarrassing complications from it. And so, I started that support group early 2015, and we now have almost 2,000 members from all over the world. And so I've just learned over the last almost 5 years now, that women do feel very alone. And so that is the number one goal of this week, is to just let women out there know that they're not alone, and that they don't have to suffer in silence. And another goal is that we're noticing that unfortunately the medical care that a lot of women are receiving seems to be a bit lacking. And so hopefully raising awareness with the medical providers to understand some of the stuff that we are going through, because it is embarrassing, and that even women aren't telling some of their doctors some of the issues that they're dealing with. And I know especially fecal incontinence, the studies show that only about 10 to 30% of women who suffer from fecal incontinence even tell their doctor about it. So that's another big goal of this week,
So if any providers that are out there watching this, we want you to ask, right?
Yes, exactly.
What would you say to a provider?
Right, and for sure, ask very specific questions, not just general. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Just specifically ask, are you having trouble getting to the bathroom in time? Are you having any stool leakage? Are you having to return to the bathroom, to clean yourself again and again? Just very specific questions like that. Are you having any problems controlling your gas?
Yeah. So one of your posts this week showed basically as a new mom, right? You're going in and well, let me back up. So as a new mom, you have a trip planned, and so you have your baby's diaper bag with all the things that you need, and then you're having to pack your own diaper bag has all these different elements. So go into a little bit more about the emotional impact of that and what you're seeing.
Yeah, unfortunately, women who have severe tears are at a higher risk of suffering from things like postpartum depression, and also especially like birth trauma and postpartum PTSD. And that aspect of it especially is not being addressed as much. And again, women are suffering silently, and it has a huge emotional impact, not even just, surrounding the birth itself, but because of all of the physical complications that you're dealing with, women are suffering big time.
You're afraid to go out in public. You're afraid you're going to have an accident. You're afraid you're going to smell. You're afraid that you might poop during sex, or that sex might hurt, or all of the above. It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so imagine the impact. So you go into the hospital, maybe you've never heard of this before, right? Because who has really heard of this?
Right.
And you go in expecting to have a healthy infant, and you come out and you're scarred for life, really. And your functional independence and how you view yourself has been totally altered.
Absolutely. And on top of that, having to take care of a newborn.
Right, because that doesn't go away. It's not like, oh, let me have some recovery time.
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me about WOW 2019. Who was the visionary behind it? How much support have you gotten?
Yeah, so it was my idea. I got the idea from, there was an awareness week for incontinence, just in general. And so I was like, we need an awareness week for us too. There are a lot of amazing awareness weeks, like maternal mental health, for cesareans.
Yes, and they're growing.
Yes, and it's doing such amazing things for these.
Highlighting the different conditions.
Yeah. So I just ran with it, honestly. I was just like, hey, we're doing this. It starts on Labor Day,
I love it.
It'll be a funny, an easy thing to remember. And so a lot of people have been supporting us and sharing posts and just encouraging, because since it is such an embarrassing thing for us, we need other people who haven't dealt with it themselves to support us and help raise that awareness. So it has
be advocates.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's been great. This week has felt good. Yeah.
Oh, good. It's just amazing, the information that you're putting out there. So anybody that's out there that may be watching this, go to her Instagram account. It's Mothers with Fourth Degree Tears.
That's right.
And then you have a Facebook. Is it called the same?
We have a public Facebook page that is called the same, Mothers with Fourth Degree Tears. Our support group that is only for women who had fourth degree tears is called Fourth Degree Tear Support Group.
Okay.
There is also another support group on Facebook because I know women who have, third degree tears, even some complicated second degree tears, they are suffering also. And there is another support group run by a woman in the UK named Rosie, and that group is called Birth Tear Support.
Okay.
And I'm in that one also, and it's amazing. So
good. Yeah. Oh, I love the collaboration. So how many countries, I think you shared at one point, how many people from all over the world are you connecting with?
Yeah. So right now, I believe we have around 44 countries all over the U.S., all over the world. The majority are in the United States. Of the 1,900 members, I think over 1,200 are in the U.S. But there are, women from all over, even Asia, Africa, which is really nice to be able to compare experiences and see how are women being treated all over, which includes the good and the bad. We find that a lot of times in the UK, women are being referred to pelvic floor therapy automatically after they have a severe tear. And that is not as common here in the U.S. Women have to almost ask for it. And I've even heard stories where they say, "Oh, you don't need that," which is just heartbreaking and extremely frustrating.
And it's not just pelvic therapists that are singing our own praises. There's research to back it up. So that's the exciting thing. And I think with Instagram and some of our, but I'm an Instagram person, right? So I think just the ability to connect patients and providers and that information is huge. I mean, I originally started with just a YouTube video and then I'm like, oh, I'll give Instagram a try. Last summer, late July, I started. So it was it's just the feedback and support and engagement has been incredible. So basically, I think the providers that I'm connecting with here are very, very open and very, very huge advocates of pelvic health. And so we need all providers to get that same level of engagement and support. And listening, asking and listening, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So what are some of the common issues that you're seeing in the support group from a physical standpoint?
Definitely the gas incontinence and the fecal incontinence, which can vary as, just having urgency, having to rush to the bathroom to just not being able to control their bowel. To the urinary incontinence, painful intercourse, and these things are lasting not just weeks, but we're talking months and years, even decades, that women are dealing with this and not going to physical therapy for it, and able to find relief once they do start years later, and wishing they would have done it sooner. The scar tissue pain that they deal with, even not related to intercourse, just daily life, daily activities. It seems to be heightened, especially around your period. I guess that's maybe hormonal. So they find a lot of relief from that. And also, which you have done a very good job of explaining, is the hypertonic pelvic floor. Because I know a lot of people feel like, oh, if I'm having pelvic floor issues, then it must just be I'm weak, and I just need to do a whole bunch of Kegels, which, we know is not always the case. You actually need to be able to relax and let go of some of that tension, which a lot of us hold.
Because just for anyone out there that may not have heard me talk about that, but think about your fist and your pelvic floor as an analogy here. So your fist, if your fist is clenched all the time and you're squeezing, when you go to try to use that hand, how functional is it going to be? You're going to be tight. You're going to have restricted blood flow, maybe even some nerve compression over time, shortening of the tissues. So same thing with the pelvic floor. We need length before strength. So you need that range and then get a good contraction. So good. Thank you for that. Let's see. I know we just have a couple more minutes. I'll jump into a little bit from a prevention standpoint. So more research is needed, and there is varying levels of success with perineal massage. So perineal massage is basically during pregnancy. Generally, what they're saying is after 35 weeks. I didn't bring a pelvic model, but basically you're massaging that smooth area of skin between the vagina and the anus, and then even going inside and really trying to stretch that tissue, stretch those muscles to help with elongation, so that during childbirth you have potentially less tearing. And that's the goal. And I've even heard of some providers doing this during labor. So I think that's a nice adjunct. Is it a guarantee that you won't have a tear? No, but what is the side effect? So what's the downside? And then also something else is warm compresses. So during labor, some warm compresses applied to the perineum. I've seen, there's some research out there on that. So, and then also with the perineal massage, it's showing that you may have also less pain with sex after postpartum. So it's cheap. You can do it to yourself for the most part, unless you're anatomically challenged and you can't reach there. And in that case, hopefully you have a friend or a partner or somebody that can help you out. Okay, so as we're wrapping up, what would you like to share? What would you like people? What's your parting message?
Like I mentioned before, the number one main goal of this whole week is to just let women know that they are not alone. And to understand that that they are hurting. And so hopefully the providers out there will understand that, and hopefully, like you were talking about prevention, do maybe a better job if they can of preventing these from happening in the first place. And then if they do happen, just listen to them. Like you mentioned, ask very specific questions, and refer to physical or the pelvic floor therapy, refer to even other specialists like urogynecologists, colorectal surgeons, for evaluation, and see if there's anything else that could be going on. And just listen. If they complain about things, don't just brush it off as, oh, that's normal. Because dealing with fecal incontinence, urinary incontinence, gas incontinence, that is not normal.
And it doesn't have to be. There's so many options out there. So, and if you have a provider that isn't listening to you, talk to another provider.
Absolutely. You have to be your own advocate.
Be your advocates. And connect with other people. So we have databases where you can find pelvic therapists and pelvic health providers. You have support groups. All of us are here to help. We want to connect you with resources so that you can live your best life. So let us know and talk about it. Don't be afraid to mention it. And again, and I would also say this, that not all pelvic therapists are the same too. So maybe one person connects well with one and another person. So don't give up. Continue talking about it. Continue being your own advocate. And thank you, Laura, so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I love all the little hearts.
I know.
It makes our hearts warm too. And we're gonna we'll record this and put it on YouTube as well. So it'll be up there probably next week. Again, thank you so much for doing this and for coming on and for all your advocacy.